Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jessie and Gary. We are from the Faculty of Education. Obviously, you can tell from the background. Today, we're very honored to share our work and the work of our students and our community together with our learning process of applying for the SkillS Award with all of you today. So Gary will first share a little bit about our project background, and then we'll talk about our learning process, something more practical if you also consider to apply the award this year.
Our project was called Nurturing a 21st Century Teaching Force through Community-Based Experiential Education. And it very much tracked 3 or 4 years of work that we've been doing in the faculty with experiential learning. And really the project tried to promote a third layer of learning in teacher education, whereby the community outside the university becomes an interspace for reciprocal knowledge building. The world, we believed, and it's actually changed much more in the last 6 months, had changed beyond recognition long before COVID-19 in many ways, and yet the ways that we felt we were preparing teachers had remained the same. What I mean by that is giving student teachers theories and methodologies to take into the classrooms at the end of a course in the wildly optimistic view that they can then implement them almost as an experienced teacher from day one. So we felt that experiential learning added to a curriculum enabled students to become a different type of teacher. And that was what we felt needed to change and needed to adapt. So we felt that the knowledge space for our student teachers had to be wider than a university classroom, simply because we don't want our teachers of tomorrow to be mere technicians, however important that is. But we also felt that they needed to be resilient, creative, adaptive, open, culturally sensitive, and also alive to all the unknown that is out there. And that's probably more true now than when we put this proposal together last year. We also made the, at that time, very unusual and unique decision to make our community-based experiential learning compulsory part of our teacher education programs at undergrad and postgrad level. We were the first education faculty in Hong Kong to do that, and we did it by making our projects mandatory, interdisciplinary, and credit-bearing with a pass and fail grade instead of a CGPA. That was also something innovative at that time, because we were told by many that students wouldn't sign up because it would be deeply unpopular if they couldn't get grades. And we all know that Hong Kong is a deeply grade-conscious society. But we actually found afterwards that there was an increase in the number of students participating, which we hope reconfirms the value of intrinsic motivation in the tasks that we had tried to set up, but also in the transformative nature of education and experiential learning. The research that we've done alongside, and I think Andrea's point is very valid, doing research alongside the work that we do to understand it better, enabled us to see that there were many measurable, transferable skills in our student teachers that we were able to observe and record. And that's what we tried to include in our application.
Mm-hmm. So why we want to apply for the award? Actually, we were approached by Leon last year when we got the University Team Teaching Award. Actually, Leon has been very supportive all the way through our application. We always want to take our work with the community and our students to a wider audience. But to be honest, to win an international award, we would never imagine in that way when we submit our application. But Leon has been really encouraging. He said that just upcycle your university team teaching proposal, it will be good, all right? So we felt as if like we always want to get feedback through journal reviews and academic conferences. So that will help us improve our work and our knowledge in the field. So well, we decided we will give it a try. So to start our application, just like any of you here, we have to select a category out of, I think last year it was like 16, is it? For us, our innovation has nothing to do with technology. So we did not actually have too many choices to choose. So we look at the description and we select presence learning. It says that improve learning outcomes in traditional learning environment. So to us, this works best with our own aims of adapting and transforming teaching practice to suit the needs of the community and our profession.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, choosing the category to go into, and it's an important step. Presence to us was very similar to what we felt we were doing, and that is that human connection, and it's still brought in teaching and learning for us. I think Susan Bridges may be out there somewhere today. She won a prize 2 or 3 years ago. She gave us a lot of push for this as well, saying that some of the work that had been going on was really worthy of being put up for this sort of external review. And that's what we really wanted to do. So the actual stage now is thinking about the proposal and writing the proposal. I can't underestimate this enough, is the fact that how challenging it can be and how much time has to go into that written proposal. We started by downloading the template from the QS website. And when you see the template for the questions, you'll see many short questions which have to be answered, but which only allow you to use about 200 words for each. That is really quite tough. So we engaged, Jessie and I, in a process writing approach. And what we did was we started with all the key points and all the things that we felt had been done and not been done over the last 3 years so that we wouldn't miss anything that was important. I was out of the country at the time, Jessie was here, and we just played ping pong with messages going backwards and forwards, basically trying to build those bullet points into paragraphs. And I think what Andrea said about evidence is so important, not just evidence that we feel was important, but bringing in evidence from external perspectives too. So student voice, external reviewers, colleagues, and of course visuals as well.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate that stage. It's really very important.
Yeah. So another thing we think that is very important. Like Andrea said, you have to have a clear problem statement. So for us, we think that like you need to identify the gap in the field that you're working on and how your project actually bridges this gap and how innovative it is in bridging it. So for us, we make use of the paradigm shift in teacher education and how our community-based experiential learning can transform teachers for the 21st century. So in the proposal, we use some traditional literature like guru in the field, and also we use our own literature, our own publication to be the evidence. And we use external feedback, like Gary said, we use students' voices, community partners' voices. We also use external reviewers' feedback as well. And I think we also include contemporary sources like World Economic Forum to establish our case.
And because every section is limited to around 200 words, it means that every single sentence is important. So in terms of a writing exercise, this is something very different to what we're normally used to. And the writing process, I don't know how many stages we went through, but it just went backwards and forwards until we got very angry with each other and then had to take a break. And that's when we decided to send it to somebody outside and allow them to look at it. And we sent it to Leon because Leon had read previous work that we'd done and he'd gone through this process. But it's very important as well to get somebody from outside of your field to look at your proposal because we're living it out every single day. And it's important for somebody who may be not connected to what you're doing to look at it because the audience and the judges will also come from many different fields. And so it's important to engage someone who's not that familiar so that they can see that you're explaining things clearly and properly and that they're able to get the same understanding that we have. You're going to collapse when you start reading all feedback from colleagues, just like when we get journal articles back. When somebody says, you haven't answered the question, this doesn't make any sense, where's the evidence? But it's actually very, very crucial feedback. And that writing process is never ending.
So I think Leon might be very popular now. Okay, so to look back, some of the challenges we have had in the whole process, I think like the first thing is very challenging to us is the word limit. Because how can you use like 200 words to summarize what you have done in 3 years? So what we do is we use a very thick appendix approach. We put everything we feel like is very important, but it's not asked in the question. So we put everything in the appendix. And like what Andre said, like having a video is important. And in our context of our work, because we actually work a lot with student helpers to do the videos. So we have a long pile list of videos in our appendix. That's one thing how we work around it, but make sure you tidy it up so that it looks good and elegant. And then the second thing, I think it's very difficult for us is to answer the question in the later part of the proposal, how you can scale up your project. Because as you can see, we are a very small team. We only have like 2 teaching staff together with Ivy is our support staff. So we only have a team of 3. So how can we actually scale up our work in like 5 years time?
But it's an important question, and it goes beyond the award. It makes you look at your work, and it makes you look forward as well as backward. And we try and reinforce reflection as part of our experiential learning work, and that made us do exactly the same as we ask our students to do. For me, the award ceremony was absolutely amazing, and something which we would never have thought about before we got there. To get shortlisted was fantastic, and the London conference was something I can't really describe in the sense that I've done before, because I'm so used to going to teacher education conferences and general education conferences. This was so different and so diverse, and it takes a while to get used to it the first time. And we met people from Ivy League universities, from universities from all across the globe, from banks, from financial sectors, from startup groups, from high technology groups all around the world. We even listened to a talk from the chairman of Apple in the UK. I wouldn't have expected to hear that at a regular education conference. But the thing was that every single one of them was engaged with education and trying to improve the field of education. That to me stood out, and that was something I'd never experienced before. And Andrea's right. As a result of that conference, we've connected with people in Belgium, Holland, South Africa, and the UK, people we wouldn't have met normally, just from being there and being able to showcase our work. And the work of our students and the work of our education faculty, that's really special too. So winning was an absolute bonus, but being there was terrific.
So that's our sharing today.